You're listening to Do This First, a daily personal development podcast that focuses on science-backed, actionable steps towards your best year ever. Hi, I'm Sandy, your host. Today, we are 38 days away from the end of 2024. Today, as promised, we're going to talk about some very hard-nosed ways of gauging the success of your pay-per-click campaign. A lot of people talk about impressions and they talk about all these other things, exposure, but at the end of the day, these are the things that really matter. And so I'm going to go through them one by one. First thing is your click-through rate. What it is, it's a way to measure how many people are actually clicking on your ad after seeing it. It's the percentage of people who click compared to how many times your ad is shown, which is called impressions. Why it matters? A higher CTR generally means that your ad is relevant and appealing to the audience. It's a good sign that it's being shown to your targeted audiences, to the right people. How do you calculate it? Well, the way to calculate your click-through rate, and this is so important, is to divide the number of clicks by the number of impressions, and then you multiply the result by 100. The ideal target can vary, but if your click-through rate, your CTR, is above 2 to 3%, that's usually considered pretty good. The second way to really gauge the efficacy of your pay-per-click campaign is by determining what the cost per click is. The cost per click is very straightforward, is the average amount you're paying each time someone clicks on your ad. Google Ads operates on a pay-per-click model, so you can only pay when someone clicks. Why it matters? Knowing your CPC can help you manage your ad spend and determine whether you're getting good value for each click. How do you calculate your cost per click? You calculate it by dividing the total cost of an ad campaign by the number of clicks. So your total cost means everything that goes into the ad campaign by the number of clicks. A lower cost per click are generally better, but you'll also want to balance this with your ad's performance in terms of conversion, which is what we're going to talk about next, your conversion rate. What is it? The conversion rate is very straightforward. It tells you what percentage of clicks actually result in a desired action on your website, like a purchase, a form submission, a phone call. In other words, how well your ads turn visitors into customers or leads. Why it matters? The high conversion is a better return on investment. Even if your CTR is good, if people aren't taking the action you want them to, once they get to your site, your ads might need some tweaking. This is how to calculate your conversion rate. You divide the number of conversions by the total number of visitors. Very straightforward. The ideal target typically is anywhere between 2 to 5%. And then there's the cost per acquisition. The cost per acquisition is the amount you pay to acquire a customer or to complete another goal like a lead or a sign up. It's essentially the cost for each successful conversion. And that conversion depends on what the focus of your ad campaign is. Sometimes you'll run ad campaigns, as we've discussed in previous podcast episodes, to generate more awareness of your brand, which means having people come onto your site and maybe sign up for something. Maybe you're trying to generate more sales. So it just depends on what the focus is of your campaign. Why it matters? Because you want to make sure that what you're paying for each sale or lead is competitive. If your CPA is higher than what you're willing to pay for a customer based on your product's value, your ads may need optimization. How do you figure out your cost per acquisition? Very straightforward. You divide your total cost, and we're talking about your marketing cost, everything that you've spent, by the number of new customers in the same time period. That's how you figure that out. Very straightforward. All these things will help you gauge if your campaign is actually successful. And if it's not, then you need to go back to the drawing board and you need to figure out where you might be missing the boat. In other words, like if your product costs like $100 and the cost per acquisition is like $200 or $150 or you're just breaking even, that might not be working out too well for you. So that means that you're just not targeting the right people. Let me give you some other ways to very simply evaluate your campaign. You can look at traffic. If your traffic has increased by 2 to 3%, that shows that your ads are relevant. So that's great. Your conversion rate between 2 to 5%, that's good. You have a decent chance of conversion. If you're wanting leads or sales and you're paying a reasonable amount for each lead or sale, then that's good. If you have high conversion rates, many visitors are becoming leads or customers, well then that's great. That means that your ad campaign is going well. Just to summarize, the click-through rate is your ad appealing to the right audience. Your cost per click is how much you're actually paying for each click. Your conversion rate are those clicks turning into desired actions. That's basically what it means. Are they turning into sales, into leads, into engagement? Whatever your campaign focus is, you want to make sure that that end result is happening for you. And then the cost per acquisition, how much are you actually paying to acquire a customer or a lead? These are all solid ways to see if your campaign is working. Some things, though, you should keep in mind that aren't really discussed a lot. In our last podcast episode, I did mention this about scheduling the time of day for your ad. It's so important, and a lot of people don't even think about it. What it is basically it allows you to control when your ads appear during the day or week, and then you're able to adjust your bids based on specific times. Sometimes bids can be lower. Sometimes you'll realize that your audience is usually online during, a certain time frame in the day. So those things are all important. Running your ads in the right time can drastically improve performance. If your business is a restaurant, run the ads during mealtime. That's when it'll be more effective. Some of the pitfalls to avoid is don't run your ads 24/7. I talked about this yesterday. Don't run them 24/7 without analyzing performance trends. This can really lead to a lot of money being wasted during low conversion times. Look at the data. The data is your best friend. And you have free access to this when you're running your ads. Google has a great platform. It gives you a lot of information. Negative keywords can also help your ads. It is a game changer for efficiency. What it is negative keywords or words or phrases that you tell Google Ads not to target. For example, if you're selling premium leather bags, you may want to add cheap or free as a negative keyword to avoid wasting money on users searching for low-cost alternatives. They're not going to buy what you have because they're looking for a cheaper brand. The pitfall to avoid there is that you might think your keyword list is comprehensive, but failing to set up negative keywords can cause you to bid on irrelevant or low intent searches. You need to regularly review your search terms, look at the search term reports to add new negative keywords. Another thing that can help you if you remember to not do this is don't focus on too many of these key indicators because it can lead to analysis paralysis. It's really easy to get distracted by all the available data, but focusing just on a few key metrics that can align with your campaign goals is probably best. Like you can concentrate on cost per acquisition or your return on investment or conversion rates, It'll give you clearer insights into what's working and what's not. So decide what is important to you and then go with that. You should not chase after every metric or tweak based on small fluctuations. Don't do that. Instead, give your campaign time to breathe, to gather data and identify trends before making major changes. Paying attention to those often overlooked elements that we talked about and avoiding the common traps can greatly improve the success of your pay-per-click campaign. And it'll help you get the most out of your budget as well. Keep testing, keep analyzing, and keep iterating. You'll likely see better results over time. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to leave a review. You can also read a full transcript of this podcast episode and all of my podcast episodes on my blog, DoThisFirst.life. And while you're there, you can sign up for my weekly newsletter. You can also listen to all of my podcast episodes. You can also listen to most of them on my YouTube channel, which is at Do This First. Tomorrow, we're going to continue with our micro series of finishing strong, where we're going to pivot inwardly because it's very important. Till tomorrow.
Moving past the rain, moving past the pain, or past the color blue. I see power in you. Has welded down. Look around, they can't be found. I see a champion in you. I see a champion.